Hi, I am attorney Nicole Christie from the Christie Law Firm, and I'm here to talk to you in our second installment regarding DCF investigations. In the last video, we talked about how DCF investigation starts, and now today we're going to talk to you about the actual process of the investigation, what to expect. So when they do come to your house, hopefully this will lessen some of the anxiety because you'll at least understand what to expect from them. And so in the last video, we did talk about the response time. Sometimes they're immediate and sometimes it takes days. But eventually when they do make contact with your family, what they should be giving to you on the onset is your parents' right to know. You're supposed to look at this particular document, be given time to actually read it and know what's in the parents' rights to know. And in that document, it talks about what the investigation entails, how you're supposed to be told about the actual report. You have a right to an attorney to represent you at that time, and also what to do in terms of your kids and what the findings ought to be. They then will want to speak with the parents. The key, again, is, as I said in earlier videos, is do a lot of listening. They want to have explanations, but again, the more you talk and the more you say about your family is the things that DCF can use against you. And they also want to know if you're telling the truth. So be careful to listen for what the actual report is about. Don't let them just start asking you questions. Make them tell you what the report is about and then speak about that report, and don't necessarily get into a lot of information. They're also going to want to talk to your children. They're going to want to talk to them alone. You do have a right to be sitting there present. They do prefer to talk to the kids alone, simply because kids sometimes won't disclose things if they're sitting right there next to their parent. But you do have a right to sit there while DCF is talking to them. I am looking at notes as I look down. The next thing, after they talk to yourself and the children, they may ask for releases of information. That is so that they can talk to the kids' doctors. They could talk to any provider like a therapist or a social worker. They can talk to the kids' school, their teachers, any guidance counselors, so they can gather more information to be able to determine whether or not that child is safe and being cared for. And in signing those releases of information, I do recommend that you be careful about how much you are releasing. You can ask DCF specifically what it is that they need to know, and then ask the provider to provide just that information. But when you sign a blank release, you also sign for DCF to be able to find out everything that they want to know about your family. So be careful in terms of when you're signing those releases. Once they have all the information, they'll make a determination as to whether or not they need to keep the case open because there are ongoing concerns, or whether or not they need to keep the case closed because they've resolved it, or to file neglect petitions. All of those things come from the actual investigation. So after they're talking to the kids, they talk to you, they'll get information from the service providers. Then they take that back and speak with the actual social worker. Will talk with her supervisor and even program supervisor. And then they make a decision about what to do with the case. So as I said before, those are those three options. Either keep the case open because there are concerns, keep the case open and file neglect petitions because there are very serious concerns, or close the case because those issues have been able to be resolved. So the key points to take away from this video is to understand that DCF, when they come out, they have to find out what's been going on with your family. So they will talk to you, they will talk to your kids, they will give you a parent's rights to know, and they will also more than likely ask you for a release of information. Understand what you're doing at each particular stage so that you know what releases have been signed, who's talking to DCF, and what they're actually saying. And once they get all of this information, then they make a determination. They typically have about 45 days to make that determination, but it's all based on interviews that they have with your family as well as service providers. In our next video, we'll be talking about abuse and neglect and how that ties into the investigation with DCF. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. We do give out information that's very helpful. And also share this with somebody who might be dealing with DCF and has a lot of questions.